Hello, everyone, and welcome to May's Energy Forecast for 2022. So remember, with our energy forecast, this is just a generalized reading for the month of May. And so I like to break it up into the first week of May, the second week of May, the third week of May, and the fourth week of May. And for each week, what I'll be doing is I'll be pulling a card from the decks that I have chosen or that I've been guided to, which are the Oracle of the Angels, the, what is this one called? The Gateway Oracle, and the answer is simple. So those are going to be the ones I will be pulling from. And then I also want to pull from the postcards from Spirit, because the postcards from Spirit is just going to kind of give us an overall message for the month of May. Okay, so that's what I want to start with. And so remember, if you're interested, hey, Debbie, thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. Hey, Sue, thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. So, oh, Debbie, let me tell you though, amazing things I know you saw about my house. You won't even, I mean, if you saw the live where I explained how everything came, I mean, absolutely amazing. Like, fantastic. Hey, Helene, thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. So, I'm going to pull from the postcards from Spirit to give us the overall energy. Just kind of what's Spirit's overall message for the month of May. Okay. And if you're interested in getting your own private reading with me, you can, of course, check out my website. If you're interested in getting a week-by-week reading, which is my Miracle Mindset prescription, you can also check that out on my website, which is posted in the description of the video. Okay, so let's see what beautiful... Hey, Karen, thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. Let's see what messages we have for the month of May. Okay, yeah, for sure. Okay, so for the month of May, dearest you, since you're on Earth, you understand how buildings are built, yes? A good solid foundation and yet flexibility too, in case of earthquakes. Truth be told, you can't offer something unsustainable unless it is built from a solid base. Whether it is an idea that takes form one step at a time or an actual house that needs a sturdy foundation dug, poured, and built, we want to remind you of this because you might need a little encouragement to see this is true in your life at this time. Celebrate the fact that right now you can repair the cracks in the foundation of your life effortlessly, as well as do a general site check to ensure your hard work is being well supported. Do this and know you are building your life on a perfect and sound foundation that will allow you to welcome in many miracles waiting to come to visit. We're so happy for you and so intrigued by what you are building. So what this card is really giving us the invitation, the overall energy for the month of May, look at your foundation. Look at your thoughts, your beliefs around what it is that is manifesting, what it is currently going on in your life. Okay, that's what we want to look at in the month of May. And so as we look at those cracks, we want to address them. Okay, I see a crack. How is it that, how can I repair this? What needs to be repaired here? Hey, thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. So really looking at that for the month of May. Overall, generally looking at our foundation. Is what you want to manifest or what you want to bring into your life, do you actually have a solid foundation for that? Or are there some cracks in that foundation? Maybe you don't quite believe you're worthy of it. Maybe you don't believe that it can happen. Maybe you have all these great high ideals, but there's one big ideal that just says, no, this isn't going to happen. So just really pay attention to that. So now let's go ahead and let's go to the Gateway Oracle for the first week of May. Let's go to the first week of May. Okay. Oh, I love this. Okay, so that's our first card. Then we're going to go to the answer is simple. So just asking, what would Spirit like us to know about the first week in May? Okay, beautiful. And then our last card. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so for our first week in May, we're actually going to start with the Oracle of the Angels card because this is actually one of my very favorite cards. And here it is. So our card is here and now. So as we look at those cracks in our foundation, we want to do it from the present tense, not the past. We cannot heal the past. The reason we don't want to necessarily go to the past to heal the past is because the past has already happened. The only place true healing can ever occur is in the present moment. It can't happen in the future and it can't happen in the past. It can only happen in the here and now. So the first week of May, we're getting this beautiful invitation to stay in the here and now. This doesn't mean that we can't be excited about things to come. And this doesn't mean that we can't recollect, nostalgic times. It just means that Spirit says, be here, be now in this moment so that you can begin to soar into joy. You cannot necessarily soar into joy in the past, and you cannot soar to joy in the future, but you can soar into joy now, in this here, in this now. And what we want to start doing to really help ourselves with that is actually these two cards. First thing, we want to be willing to decorate ourselves. We want to be willing to kind of splurge on ourselves a little bit, make ourselves feel fancy, make ourselves feel good, and also be willing to blow off some steam. Be willing to, maybe if you get angry, you get frustrated, it's okay. But instead of keeping it all bottled up inside, or instead of being like, I can't be angry, acknowledge the anger, release it in a healthy way, punching a pillow, go to a kickboxing class, doing some tapping, or finding out what are you really angry about. What a great way for us to look at the cracks in our foundation. If you get angry, if you get frustrated, then ask yourself, and this is one of my favorite Course in Miracles lesson number 5. I am never angry for the reason that I think I am. So you can be like, okay, I'm angry right now because, and you can state all the reasons you're angry, you're upset, you're sad, you're frustrated, whatever the case is. Go ahead and name those. Write them down. I'm a firm believer in writing things down. So you write them down. After you write them down, then you can really look back and be like, well, I'm really angry because. So after you've gone through all the things that you already, consciously think you're angry about, then you can get to the core of why you're really angry. And once again, where do we find that real core of anger? We find it in the here and the now. It may be coming from the past, but we do not dwell within the past. We come into that present moment, we see it, we acknowledge it, and we're like, oh, okay, I see this, I acknowledge it, but do I want to continue to value it? Do I still want it? Because May is going to be a month where we are going to be asked to look at some stuff, because we do have I believe it's the other eclipse coming, and it's in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is all about those depths of ourselves. So May is preparing us for that eclipse. Okay, so our first week in May is about being here and now so that we can soar into joy. But what we're going to do is we're going to ask ourselves some questions about soaring into joy. This is what I love about the Gateway Oracle. It gives us these beautiful questions that we can ask ourselves. So be willing to ask yourself this week, what gives me the greatest pleasure? What might be blocking my joy? Oh, what a wonderful way to look at the cracks in your foundation, right? What's stopping me from feeling that joy, or even pursuing those things that bring me pleasure? What's the key to experiencing more bliss in my life? So really beautiful questions we can ask ourselves for the first week in May. Let's go ahead and now let's move to our second week in May. Okay. Ooh, beautiful. Okay, and then we're going to go to the Oracle of the Angels. Fabulous. And then we're going to go to the uh, answer is simple. Okay. So for our second week in May, so first week in May, we're asked to be in the here and now so that we can soar into joy. We're asked to nurture ourselves, love ourselves, make ourselves feel pretty, and blow off some steam. And remember, we're going to lesson number 5 of Course in Miracles. I'm never angry for the reason that I think I am. It's not to ignore the anger or the upset. It's to get to the core issue of it in the here and the now. Okay, so as we do that, we are asked to communicate freely. We are asked to communicate freely. And what are we communicating freely? We're communicating freely our truth. Who are we communicating freely our truth to? To the divine. Okay, that's really what we are doing so that we can, oh, I didn't even see that card, so that we can, I know, isn't it? Like, it's one of the best lessons. I love that one. And so that we can really embark on that adventure. And remember, that was the whole, like, overall meaning of the month of May, was to build that foundation. So what adventure do we want to go on? So let's go ahead and let's read our questions for communicating freely and embarking on an adventure. Okay? So let's go. Let's go to C for communicating. These are all in alphabetical order. All right, so for communicating freely, let's be willing to ask ourselves, is there anyone I need to communicate with? Is there some type of communication that I have been withholding? What might I need to do to step into my role as a teacher and a leader and a healer? Okay, so really beautiful. And then embarking on the adventure. Let's see, nope, that's embracing. Hold on. Here it is. So then embarking on an adventure. What is the best adventure for me to take at this time? What has kept me from seeking this in the past? What adventure would be best for me now? What is it that I desire in this now moment? So what we want to do is we want to be really, really clear with the divine. Now, it's not because we have to be clear with the divine, otherwise we won't get what we want. That's not it. The reason we have to be clear in our communication with the divine is because that gives us an opportunity to see where we don't really know what we want, where we may be a little cloudy on the details, or where we might be saying one thing but meaning another. So we have to be really willing to communicate freely, effortlessly, and in the truth. Okay, because you see this person has their heart wide open. That's how we communicate freely. We communicate freely from the heart. And that is where the divine speaks to us. It speaks to us in love, because that's where we are in truth. Truth is love. Love is truth. We speak to the divine through love. And that is where the divine, meets us and hears us. Now, it doesn't mean that if you're not speaking in love to the divine doesn't hear you. Not at all. The divine hears everything and knows everything already. It's just to help us to return to the truth of who we are when we communicate out of love. When we communicate through love, we are communicating the truth of who we are. When we communicate with love, we are not communicating from the space of victimhood or the space of pain or the space of lack or scarcity. When we communicate out of love, we are speaking from the truth of who we are. And once again, that's that foundational piece. Where is there a crack in my foundation? Where am I not communicating freely? Where am I having a hard time communicating? Yeah, and what adventure do I want to go on? What adventure do I even desire? And what is truth for me? And how can I talk to the divine more? That's something that I never really realized was something that I needed to do until I got into the Course in Miracles. Because for the longest time, I still tried to do everything by myself. I still tried to make every decision by myself. I still tried to, figure everything out by myself. But it wasn't until I started the Course that I started to see that, the divine wants to help me, and it wants to help me be happy, because that is the divine will, for you to be happy and free. Happy and free, not just happy, happy and free. So That's really what we want to look into. How can I communicate more freely with myself and my source? What adventure do I want to embark on? How can I remain in the truth and still communicate freely and effortlessly out of love? And, how is it that I can communicate more deeply with my source? So that's the first week. Then the second week. Now let's go to the third week. Let's go to the third week. Okay. Oh, I love that. Okay, let's see what our other card is here for the month of May. For May. Third week in May. Whoops. Okay, beautiful. And then we're going to go to the answer is simple. Oh, okay. Oh, I love that. Beautiful. Okay, so for our third week in May, we are asked to let go. I surrender joyously to the ebbing and flowing. So we're really asked, another way of looking at letting go is flow, stepping into flow, stepping into that energy of the truth of who we are, which invites us to be more open-hearted so that we may truly reclaim, our art. Or another way of saying that is we reclaim our art through opening our heart, right? So let's look at this a little more deeply, because I really love the affirmation for number 30, that energy card. And so what it says is, love is energy. Love transcends time and space. There is positive energy all around me. I am spiritually connected to those I love. Time and space does not exist within my soul. And so right there, we are asked to step into the flow of the energy of love, and with an open heart. And the way that we can do that is through creative endeavors. Because when we are being creative, we're not necessarily thinking. We are being guided. Because, what is inspiration? Inspiration means to be inspired, to be in spirit, inspired in spirit. And how you can't be in spirit if you're not necessarily in love, if you're not in that, if you are not in that space of receptivity. And that's where we want to be. That's what flow is. And so we have to be willing to let go of all the barriers that we have built that say, I can't open my heart. Or the barriers that we've built that say, I don't have any talents. Or my talents aren't good enough. Here's what I want you to say to those fabulous voices. Fuck you. Because it's not true. You are valuable. Your talent is valuable. You have everything that you need. You are valuable. And we have to put down this story that we've been holding on to, that, I can't be as good as this person, or I can't be as good as that person. Let go of that. Or my talent isn't, built for people. Everyone's talent is important. Everyone's talent can help in whatever way, shape, or form. It's about allowing spirit to use your talent through you. Open-heartedness, being that energy of love, letting that flow to you and through you, not trying to control it. Once again, that flow. So we're letting go of those barriers that we have built, those thought forms, those cracks that say, oh, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. Believe you me, guys, I can attest to this. Debbie can attest to this with me. I never believed that I could do readings full time. I never believed I could be a channel. I didn't believe I could do half the things that I'm doing, but I'm doing them because I was willing to change my mind. Because do you know what adaptability means? It really just means, or at least this is the definition that I've given adaptability. It is your ability to change your mind about anything. Doesn't that sound so much better? Like, my ability to adapt simply comes from my ability to change my mind. And if you can change your mind about which way you're going to go to work or what outfit you're going to wear, you can change your mind about what it is that you believe. The only reason we have a hard time with that is because we value those beliefs. We think that they're true. We think we have to believe them, but we don't. It's about opening ourselves and saying, okay, What is it that brings me joy? What is it that brings me passion? What is it that lights me up on the inside? What is that? And letting it flow through, but unencumbered by your consciousness. Okay? Letting it just flow to you and through you. I mean, there have been times when I've just been like, I'm not, I think I want to write more in my book, The Practical Mystic, right? And I'll be like, well, there's nothing else I can really think about, so whatever. And then I'll go for a walk. And then all of a sudden it hits me like a lightning bolt. And I'm like, oh my God, and I just start typing on my phone, or I start voice recording it. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Before I was uninspired because why? I was thinking, oh, I need to add more. It needs to be this. It needs to be that. And then I was like, no, if something's supposed to come, it'll come. And then bing, bang, boom, there it is. Because I opened my heart. I opened myself to allow Spirit to use my talent for words and say, use me, let it flow through me. Okay. So like I said, May is definitely a month of looking at our foundation. So doing a little bit of that deeper work. Okay, that deeper work. And yeah, okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to go to our fourth week. Because I will tell you all, I will not be doing, I don't think I will. I'm not, well, you know what? I'm not even going to put it out there. I'm not even going to say I will or I won't. I'm going to let it be inspired. Okay. Oh, do we have 2 or just 1? Okay, it was just 1. Beautiful. Oh, I love that. Okay, and then we'll go here. Whoa. Okay, so the 4th. Actually, there's already a card in here that I'm seeing in my head that I think wants to come out. Hold on. I'm going to find it. No, that's not it. Where are you? It's the Inner Calling card. That is the card that, like, I was closing my eyes, and that's the card I was seeing in my head. So that's the card that we are going to choose. Once again, this is how Spirit works. Sometimes it's like, you know what? I'm just going to show you the card that you need. There it is. Beautiful. Inner Calling. This is the card. This is the card that wants to come out and really, I want to say, like, teach us. So let's see what our last card here is. 1. Okay, you just want me to pull off the top? Is that what you want me to do? Okay. Oh, I love those. Okay. So, the 4th week in May, I want to start with this Inner Calling card. Inner Calling card. All right. So, what Spirit wants to bring forth about this Inner Calling card is for the 4th week of May, that's where this is all leading us. This is leading us to our own inner calling. We're cleaning up our space. We're cleaning up our inner space to really begin to build on our own inner calling that we already know is there and already feel the stirring for. And we have to acknowledge that, that inner calling is going to help us to make a difference in the world. But we have to be willing to celebrate ourselves, celebrate others as well, and be in that gratitude, that satisfaction. And, we got to be willing to look a little bit deeper and exceed our expectations so that we can emerge into grace. But we have to proceed softly towards this new beginning as we continue to dwell in truth and really expect those miracles and trust our divine guidance. Trust that it will be there, for us in whatever way, shape, or form. And that's what I love. I love when Spirit comes through and gives me a whole story just by picking cards off the top. I always think that's so fun when it does that. So let's go ahead and let's read the questions we can ask ourselves about making a difference. How can I make a difference? Whose life is positively impacted because of me? What can I do to make even more of a difference in the world? And then let's go read that inner calling card, shall we? I choose to see challenges as ideal opportunities to work on my inner self. I look for the blessing in all situations. I am connected to the positive aspect of my experience. Now, when this says that, okay, we're going to have opportunities for growth. That's how I like to see challenges. They are opportunities for growth. So we're going to have these opportunities for growth. And it doesn't mean that we have to ascribe a meaning to them. We are very good and very apt and very quick to be like, oh, this is terrible. This is awful. This is the worst thing to happen. And that's because we're interpreting it through our ego. With this inner calling is asking us to ask spirit to interpret the situation for us. That inner calling card is saying, go to the small, still voice within. That's going to help you to really make a difference. And you got to celebrate that you have the ability to choose that and be in that gratitude. You know, this is something that I told a Miracle Mindset prescription reading person today. Find the satisfaction in your situation. If you are not satisfied with the outcome, that's okay. You can be unsatisfied with it. But instead of dwelling in that, staying in that, be willing to find something that you are satisfied in. Focus on that. Go towards that. We are so good at focusing on what doesn't work. We're so good at focusing on what isn't satisfying. We're so good at focusing on all the bad stuff. And this isn't to practice toxic positivity and be like, oh my God, there's only positive. We acknowledge the negative. We acknowledge it, but not as negative. We acknowledge it instead as an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to go within ourselves and say, okay, I'm never upset for the reason that I think I am. What's really upsetting me here? What's really upsetting me? Because it's not the fact that, you know, this person yelled at me. I'm really upset because, you know, I'm going deeper into that and allowing that to happen and celebrating that. And as you do, you know, that's that looking deeper as you exceed your own expectations so that you may emerge into grace, because we don't emerge into grace from the ego. We emerge into grace from spirit. And as we do so, we have to proceed softly. We're not going to get it right 100% of the time. I don't get it right 100% of the time. And that's going to help us to, you know, as we proceed softly, that's going to help us to start again, start fresh. As we dwell within our truth, expect miracles, and trust our intuition. So the month of May is a foundational month where we're going to have to really look at our foundations and say, okay, where's the cracks here? But not from a past perspective. Not from what situation in the past do I have to heal in order for this present moment to be healed. Stop that. That's not going to help you. That's not where healing happens. Healing happens in the here and now. So let's take, for example, let's say that there is something that arises. Okay, so let's say, okay. So let's say that you have a person at your work and they tell you that they don't like you, because this happened to me. And so someone at my work, when I used to work in kindergarten, they literally told me, they're like, Ron, I don't like you. And I was like, oh my God, someone doesn't like me? And just, you know, getting really upset about it and really, you know, and then trying then be like, oh my God, what can I do to like make this person like me? And then I asked them, I'm like, well, why don't you like me? Well, I just think when you talk to parents, you're too nice. You're too fake. And I was like, that's our job. Our job is to be very nice to them. Our job is to be, you know, to help them and so forth and so on. Well, I just don't like it. I think you're fake. And I was like, oh my gosh. Well, if I really go back and I look at that situation, number one, I don't need to go to the past. I need to look in that here and now moment. Well, I'm upset because this person seemed to be attacking my self-image that I had made. That's what that person seemed to be attacking. And so that's what was really upsetting me. But once again, I'm not that character, Ron Schaefer. I'm not any of that. Those are roles that I play, but it's not the truth of me. And so why is that upsetting me? Well, because I must believe that is the truth of me. I must believe I am my personality. I must believe I am my body. I must believe I am this persona. I must believe that I am this character. And so in that, you notice, did I go to the past and say, oh, well, it must have been because when I was 5, this happened? No. I came to the present moment. I said, here is what must be bothering me from my perspective. And I asked for the healing in this now moment, not in that now moment, and not in future now moments. Because as long as I heal it in the here and now, guess what happens? It heals throughout all time and space. Because you are a multidimensional being who is not bound by the limits of time and space, nor is the spirit that will do the healing for you and through you. If there are steps that you need to take, Spirit's going to tell you what those steps are. If you believe that there are steps you need to take, guess what? Spirit's going to tell you what those steps are. If you feel like you need an expert or you need, someone's help to do that stuff, that's fine. Spirit's going to lead you to the person that you need to help you through that process. But Spirit is always the one doing the healing. You just think that you have to be a part of that. Your only part is to accept the responsibility and be like, okay, yeah, this is something that I would like healed. I acknowledge it, I see it, and I'm willing to hand it over because it's hurting me and I'm tired of hurting. Okay? So that is the reading for May. If you are interested in your own Miracle Mindset prescription, which you get every Monday in your email box, then you can go check out my website. If you're interested in more content like this, where I do readings or my Wisdom Wednesdays, you can go check out my YouTube channel. Both of those links are in the description of the video. I thank you for joining me. I thank you for being here. And may the blessings of the love that you are shower down upon you so that you may realize the true majesty that you are. I just ask that each person receive in whatever way that they're willing to the miracle that they need. And I just thank you, Spirit, for showing us the truth that we are.